So this session is about the advanced feature where we'll be talking about the terminal utilities, where we'll talk about some miscellaneous commands which will be helpful for you to do your day-to-day tasks, and also we'll be talking about how to do coding or like editing files with Vim. So that will be taken by Samrit. So let's start with terminal utilities then. So if we see, these are just basically some miscellaneous commands which will make your life easier in Linux, which will help you to do things faster in Linux in the CLI, command line interface. So the first thing is path expansion. So here we want to complete auto, like tab is always an option to auto complete your commands or your path or something, but path expansion is a higher version of the tab which takes some input, like which takes some the pattern as input, and through that only it will provide those it will only output those values or those files which match the pattern that you are giving as input. So let's see this. The first is the star pattern. So if you have read regex in your first or second semester in Python coding, you must know this. These are basically the regex searches. So we'll just be going through them. The star pattern is stands for any string of 0 or more characters. So if you do ls mov star, so it will print all the files which are starting with mov, and maybe they might have something, any character, or may not have any character after mov. So if there is a file called mov or movie or mov dash 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 200 characters, it will print them all, but it will not print any files that are starting with abc or something. So I get I hope you get the match of this. So star basically stands for anything. You can give any pattern after this, like any pattern is matched to this context after mov. So I'll just show you an example of that. I'll first do ls, and you will see I have something like this. I've made some 7 to 8 text files which are movie1.txt, 2, 3, 4 up to 8. So if I'm just concerned about these movie text files, for example, for some users, so if I do ls, I can't find it easily. But if you'll do this pattern matching, I'll just show you. ls mov and star. So this should print you any string that is starting with mov and should have anything after that. It doesn't matter if I'll also create a file now called touch mov, and then if I'll do ls mov then again star, then it should give me mov also. So that I hope you get the concept of star. So now let's go to question mark. This is basically stands for any void character just for one character. Like star accounts for every character. Maybe it is 0 character or all the characters after this current pattern, but this question mark is basically standing for one character. So it can be anything, but it should be of one character. So if I do now ls mov and question mark, okay, then it's showing that there is no such file or directory, because I don't have any 4-letter file in my this directory which is starting from mov. If you'll see mov, it's just mov, but if I create a file called movi or something, and now if I'll do ls and then mov question mark, I should get this movi. You'll see that it doesn't print this movie.txt because it contains more than one character after the pattern which is our mov. So it contains ie2.txt, so that's why it's not printing. So this is the concept of question mark. Now let's look at this one. So this is basically you are passing it an array or something, and in that you are giving it some letters, or say the pattern which is to be checked. So if you do abc here, it prints out all the file names which has these characters in them. It might not be necessary for them to have it in this order. For example, if you have a file name called BACC or something, it should also print you that. So the order is not necessary here, but these all these characters should be in that file. So now let's look at that. Let's do ls and abc mov. I don't know. Let's see what happens. So there is no such file or directory which has all of these letters. Now if we'll do mov only, should get an output. Okay. Now mov is also not there. Let's just check. Yeah, mov. It should give you an output. Okay, we are missing the star. So basically if we do this star, it should give you the output. Yeah, so it's giving you all the possible lists or directories which has. So mov is also there, movi.txt is also there on all those 8 files. Then it's showing also some of the files present in this directory called mitm proxy. I have also this directory, and you will see it has all those letters, like it has M and O, so it's matching that case, and after that it will show you all those files in that directory. So I hope you, if you'll see ls minus l, now if you'll see my ls output, you'll see there is an mitm proxy here. Yeah, this is the directory. So this is also matching to the pattern, and it's showing all the contents nested inside this directory to this output also. So the output of this command is basically all of this. So why it was not showing the output when we didn't have the star is because there is no such file which has only MOV. So by giving this star, we are permitting the pattern to look for every files which has these characters, and apart from that it may have more characters or something. So if you'll see in movie3.txt, it has a file, it has a character called T, but T is not in this class. So that's why it was not matching in earlier case. But now since we have given this star here, it will print all those variables, all those files or directories which have these characters, as well as anything apart from these characters. So I hope this makes sense. Apart from that, yeah, this is just the negation of that, the slash. Okay, we have made a typo here. The slash should be inside this array, like here, if you can see in the syntax. I'm sorry, it's an exclamation mark which is called bang in Linux, so it should be inside this array too. And this is basically just the opposite of what we talked earlier. It shows all those characters which do not match the case. For example, if we'll do ls and slash mov and then star maybe, so it shows you everything which doesn't match. So that will be a very large output, you can see. So everything on this my home directory which doesn't match will show you this. So it's even going into music, going into node modules, etc., learn Linux, everywhere. So that is this. And then yeah, this is basically a pattern used to show like to match the case of any alphabetic character. If you have done Python coding, you should be knowing is alpha, is al num, is digit. So this is just the similar version in the Linux terminal. So alpha basically matches with any alphabetic character, al num matches with any alphabetic or digit character, and digit matches with any digit from 0 to 9. So if we'll do, let's see what happens. Just alpha. Okay, there is no such file which just have this what do you say, this alphabet. So I'll just make one, maybe touch a, and then ls alpha. You can see a is coming. So it's basically just one character which should be an alphabet. So it's checking for that. Now similarly you can do it for is al num. Let's see if you have any output. Al num, was it? Yeah, al num. This is also coming as a only because it's just one character. And let's see for a digit. There is no such. If you create anything like that, okay, touch 8, and then the command you'll see 8. So this is basically about this pattern matching. Now let's go to brace expansion. Now this is helpful in these cases, where you want to make multiple files, or you want to delete multiple files, or maybe create directories or something, anything, but which should have a common pattern. For example, let's say you want to make like I'll show you this. I have files from movie1.txt, movie2.txt, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, like that. So let's say you have to create 30 files like that. So starting from movie1.txt, movie2.txt to movie30.txt. So just making it individually through these commands will be very tiresome, and like it's not ideal in those situations. So for these cases we have this brace expansion. So basically whatever you provide inside this pair of braces, it will take it as a common pattern, and through that it will execute the command. So if I provide it, if I use this command called echo Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.txt, it will create 3 files. It will not create, it will just print to the system log. It will just print Monday.txt, Tuesday.txt, and Wednesday.txt. So this is the common part, and after that this is just whatever you want to do with it. So if I, for example, if I do touch file1.11.txt, it will create me file 1.txt, file 2.txt, file 3.txt up to 11.txt. So this is the braces, and inside it you are putting your logic. So inside it you can either put a sequence like this, like from 1 to 11, or maybe 5 to 10, whatever the sequence you can put. That should be separated by 2 dots as shown here, or you can put discrete values here like Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or whatever you want to do. So just an example would be let's say we're creating random files from maybe 4 to 8.txt, random files 4 5 6 7 8. So you can see this is like to make multiple files or directories which have this common format what you say. So it's not limited to files only, you can even create directories with that. You can use this command mkdir, then I'll just do file random directory similar to that, then just the pattern 1.2 anything, I just to give 2 here, yeah, should be there, random dir 1 and random dir 2. Yeah, here random directory 1, random directory 2. So this is the example of the brace expansion. And for variable expansion, basically it's however you do in coding in any Python not Python but any program, however you do, you store a output or maybe a value to a variable so that you can use it at multiple places instead of using the value directly. So for example, if you'll do pi equal to 3.14, now instead of using 3.14 at all places, you can directly just use a variable pi. So for that also, this is similar to this the variable expansion, where in this case we are providing the output of a command to a variable, and we can use that variable everywhere in our system. What do you say? So you must have heard of this term called environment variables. So it is kind of related to that only. So you must have seen that every environment variable starts with this dollar. So it's actually a syntax to show that it's an variable. So for example, let's do something. Let's travel into some directories. Next website, LEG VITC. Let's go to SRC pages. Then let's go to Learn Linux. Then yeah, now it's a nested directory. You will see this is from home Visual Linux. So this one. So you don't want to type out this one. So the one option is to just copy it and then CD in a new terminal. Then Control Shift V to paste. But like think of the scenario where you have to do this multiple times. So you won't want to come to this directory and again do pwd, again copy its output, then just put it here. So if you will think of working in 5 to 6 files, this will be time consuming even. So for that we have this variable thing. So let's do this. Let's do my output, anything, you can name the variable anything, and just equal to, then I'll just paste this output as the value. Now you'll see it's variable. So if I'll just do echo and $sign my output, I should get this value here. So now you can use it anywhere. For example, I want to make it I want to do it CD and then $sign to show that it's a variable, then go to my output. So I okay, it's not working. Okay, for CD you have to do this. 1 second. My output. This should work. Okay, it's not working. Strange. 1 second. Let's go back here. Then CD. My output. Okay, yeah, it's just working. So it's basically in the context of your current shell or terminal. So I guess if we export it, you'll see I was in the same terminal where I used this variable, so I can use it here as an LIS, but I can't do it in new terminal. So for this, I guess the best solution is to just use this called as export. Then we'll export my output. Okay, not invalid identifier. Well, I think I'll have to look at it, but as of now you can just use it on the same terminal everywhere, but I'll just look at it how to propagate it into new terminals as well. So this was the concept. Now if you'll just do echo my output, it will just show you my output. So to show that it's a variable, you have to give this $sign my output, so it will show you this. So this was the concept of variables. Now coming to grep. So basically grep helps you to, it's just like this pattern matching and all, but it's just an easier interface to use. Like for example, you have to remember all these values, the star or question mark and the syntax to use them properly. But for an easier cases, for 90% of your cases, your work will be done through grep only. For example, you are just printing out ls-l, so it will give you long list of files. Now we want to grep we want to filter the output to match, to just output those files which match our context. So what we'll do is ls-l, we'll use this pipe character, then you will use grep and then just provide our pattern, which may be anything you want. I'll just give it movie, so it will show me all those like movie1.txt, movie2, 3, 4, just notice that it won't show you MOV, because I have provided it the whole, like it will print all those files which have all these characters and in this particular order, it will just print those files only. So for just printing MOV as well, I'll have to do this grep, then I'll just do MOV. In that case, it will print MOV as well as MOVI as well as MOVIE.txt, whatever. So the concept is just have to match this characters in that particular order, and after that whatever you do, it doesn't matter. So you can just for an alias, just to revise your concept, you can just think of it as like this MOV star. That is what grep does. And of course it has many options which you can just go through by using the man pages. So if you want to use any options, like it has multiple options, you can see and just do it as you suit like. So I'll just skip on that part. Now let's go to zip. So yeah, zip and unzipping through a command line interface will be a major part of your work in day-to-day activities. For example, I want to zip a directory. Let's say this random directory which is created. So now I want to zip it, so I'll just use the zip command. Then I want to give it a name, for example my zip file. I'll just give it, and then the path to the directory or the name of the directory. I'll just do this random div1. So after you'll see this output which has shown you it's adding. Now if you will do ls, you should get a zip file. It was my zip file, right? My zip file dot zip. So this is how you'll do it. And also it has many options, like as I said, you can go through the manual pages. For example, if you want to protect your zip file with a password, you can do it with this -p, and just say that my password, and then your zip file, your name of your zip file, and then your the path, the name of your directory which you want to zip. So in our case it's random director dir1. Now you'll see it has created a file. It should have created a zip file with the name zip file, and inside the zip file this random directory 1 should be there, and it's protected with this password called my password. Now if I'll just do ls, I'll see okay, now let's revise our concept. I won't do ls and I'll find it. I'll just do ls and then I'll just use grep, then zip file, just zip file. Yeah, I get it, my zip file dot zip. So I will just okay, I guess this wasn't it. I'll just do zip. Okay, it was my password to zip. Now if let's unzip it. So to unzip a file, you'll just use the unzip command, and here you have to provide the file name of the zip and then the path where you want to unzip it. For example, I'll just show you in the GUI. When you open a GUI and you want to unzip a file, you just double click it, and when you click on extract, it will show you the path, right? So for example, you want to unzip it in this random directory 1 or something, then you can click on extract and it will just unzip it there, the contents. So to do that through your terminal, you can just use this unzip, then your zip file name, which is my zip file, yes, my zip file dot zip, then -d to show you the path of the directory where you want to unzip. So in this case I want to do it in random directory 1. Should work. Yeah, it's successful. Now if I do cd into random directory 1, yeah, I'll see I'll have this directory again which was empty earlier, and it unzipped it here. So basically this was all the concept. Yeah, I will just show you how it encrypted your zip file with a password. Let's just see the zip page once. I just want to confirm the option of the password once. -p was it? One second. Yeah, -p. Okay, it was capital P. Alright, so I made it a small p, that's what it was the problem. So now let's do it again. I will just zip a random zip file. It is the name of my zip file. Then I will just provide the path to that, which is random dir1, and then the -p option to give it my password, which is my password. Yeah, now if we do ls, let's grep it. Let's grep as random zip, something like that. Okay, zip. Yeah, I have this file. Now to unzip it, I will just do unzip random, just use tab, Yeah. uh, okay, it unzipped it there, it didn't ask for the password. Guess I'm missing something for the password. No worries, I'll just go through again of the options and I'll provide in the website. So I hope you got the idea. Whenever you're working with files, whenever you're cloning a Git repository or like doing something, unzipping, zipping will be main thing. You'll be doing it through a terminal. So I hope this was clear. So basically Vim is just a text editor or a code editor, you can say. Many developers like prefer to do coding in Vim because like if you have used other code editors, it will just randomly do all the stuff for you, like auto complete your code and all. But in the long run, it affects your what do you say, your syntax skills, or maybe how fast you can type. So all those, like for a perfect coder you have, and even if you look for placements, like one of our faculties was saying today, they won't allow you to code in those code editors like IDEs which you have for maybe the Eclipse or VS Code, etc. They'll just tell you to code you through Vim, not Vim, maybe just Notepad, maybe which doesn't have those autocomplete functions. So Vim basically gives you that facility, and it also has many plugins. So you can just do any, like whatever you're doing in your VS Code or any other software, you can just also do that in Vim as well. But for that you have to do a process called as plugin. You have to install it, and you have to, like whatever is needed for you, which functionality, for that only you can install those plugins and use it as you need. So for installing Vim, I'm on Arch, so I'll just do sudo pacman, my package manager, then -s, then Vim. So this will install me Vim. If you are on Ubuntu or apt like packages, you just have to do this sudo apt install Vim. And if you are on any other distros, just type Vim. So I have installed it for example, like that's why it's showing me this introductory message. But if you are on any other distributions, it will show you a error message saying there is no software called Vim. To install it, you can follow this command. So you can do that to install it. So after you have installed Vim, let's just take a look at it. Just you have the syntax is to create any file. You just have to type the Vim, then the file name. Let's say myfile.txt. Now it opens up this interface, and you can see only the first line the cursor is blinking, and after that all the lines are this filled with tilde. So basically this shows you that you can just type or do whatever in just the first line as of now. So as of now you can't do anything on those 2 to 3 lines, anything. So for that it's showing you that. And I'll just tell you that Vim is actually what do you say, a mode editor or something like that. I just don't know the exact term, but it's operated in modes. Whenever you open a file in Vim, if you just open a file, I have opened it file, I haven't typed anything. Now if you just type anything, you will see, you can just hear that sound which says that you can't type right now. So even if I am pressing anything on my keyboard, it's not typing it anything. So it's because it opens in read only format. Now to just write into this file, I have to type the I button, like the I key, to tell Vim that I am going to insert into this file. You can see now insert mode is activated. Now if you type anything, you will see the file is getting typed. So you can press enter, then your next line comes, and you can see the tilde is like eliminated from here. So now you can do whatever. So how like it's dynamic. So whatever content you write, till then your tilde will be vanished. After that it's just to show you that like up to this content only you can modify. So to switch modes in Vim, you just have to type you just have to first press escape, the escape button. Now currently I am in insert mode, and if I'll press escape, you'll see I have been kicked out of the insert mode. So now if I'll type any characters, okay, I just clicked it again. Now if I'll just type any characters, you'll see there is nothing is happening on the file. Now to again type into the character, I'll have to press escape and I again, then I can insert it now. So this is just a feature to help you to not type random files like random characters easily. So if you only switch in insert mode, then only you can type to the file. Now for example, I want to switch to a mode called V, the visual mode. Then it will let me choose everything. You can see I have to highlight this. So if you want to highlight some part of your code, you can just just switch into the visual mode, and then you can do it like this. Now maybe what I will do is so this was it. Now you can, if you want to copy in Vim, so this is one thing, like Control Shift C or won't work, and there is no right click or something in Windows which helps you to copy. So Vim is basically everything through your keyboard. You won't have to use your mouse or even your touchpad. So there are lots of shortcuts that you will learn throughout your way. But just for starting, to open a file, you have to type vim, the file name, and to like close a file, you just have to type escape, then colon, then x, then exclamation mark. So I repeat again, to exit out of a file in vim, you just have to press escape, then colon, then x, and then exclamation mark, and you have to press enter. So it has saved my file and I have exited vim. Now if I'll do ls, then let's use grep again, my file dot txt, it should work. Yeah, it is. Then if let's do cat my file dot txt, so it prints out the content. Alright, Samit, you can continue.
Okay. So you guys must be using VS Code and everything. It has a lot of features, but Vim is not a competitor to that. It's basically a replacement for Notepad in the simplest terms. Okay. So when you guys are editing files, you're doing two things. You're either using a mouse, you're moving around the page, you're selecting something. Okay, you might be deleting it. Okay, you might be undoing stuff, but you're not actually writing it. Okay. So this is, think of it as your normal mode of operation. You're just moving around, doing stuff, checking out things. But when you have to actually edit something, you basically take your hand off the mouse, you come to the keyboard and you start typing. So Vim is a software, it is a terminal software utility with which you don't have to move hands to your mouse. You can do everything from the keyboard. Moving around, copying stuff, cutting stuff, selecting stuff, everything can be done, and searching stuff, everything can be done using your keyboard. And it has a learning curve. It can be a bit steep, but once you learn it, you can be faster than using a mouse and a keyboard. So you can just instinctively do everything on the keyboard without moving your hands, for which someone else might need to use their mouse and everything. So that is why you should learn Vim, or at least you should try to learn it. So first of all, we need a okay. So first of all, installing Vim, I think Dileshwar covered that. I would suggest everyone to install it and just go along with me, so you can actually try it out. So if you're on a Debian based, you will use sudo apt install Vim. For something like an Arch based distro, you can use sudo pacman -s Vim. And for a Fedora based system, you can use sudo dnf install Vim. So have you guys installed Vim? If you haven't, I would just suggest you to do that. So it will take a couple of minutes, so you can follow along better. Okay. Now after that, we need a text file to edit. Okay, so we need a lot of text in it, so we can move around and do everything. So type vim session-notes to open this file. You will see this text. If you can see this, then you can follow along with me. So you have three basic modes, which is the normal mode, the insert mode, and the visual mode. So basically, the normal mode is moving around, okay, selecting stuff, moving around, searching, replacing, etc. Okay, and even deleting can be there. And it is basically everything which is normally done by the mouse. Okay. Then there is the insert mode, which is basically adding and removing text. And there is the visual mode, which is basically selecting text. But these are the three modes in them. And you might be wondering, like, how can you replace the mouse with the keyboard? Okay, because what the mouse does is completely separate. You need to go up and down, you need to select stuff, you need to do a lot of it. So for that, Vim separates its functionality into three modes: the normal mode, the insert mode, and the visual mode. So whenever you open a file, it will normally be in the normal mode. If you can see nothing at the bottom, if the bottom is blank, and then that means you're in the normal mode. So normal mode means nothing. If you guys press I, the I key or the A key, you will see an insert written at the bottom. So that means you have entered the insert mode. Okay. So that was the normal and the insert mode. If you press escape, so I'm pressing escape and I'm back to the normal mode. So I and escape, I can keep pressing that and I can switch between them. And to enter the visual mode, as Baleshwar said, you have to press V, and you can press escape to go back to the normal mode. So visual and normal, these are the three modes. And after that, one more thing is there, which are commands. So Vim has a number of commands. Commands are run in the normal mode after pressing the colon key. So make sure you're in. I'll show you how to do that. Make sure you're in normal mode. Press escape a couple times, so there's no insert or visual at the bottom, and press the colon. So shift and semicolon. You will see a colon appear at the bottom, and now you have a cursor. So you can basically type anything here, and you will see it at the bottom. And this is not in the file. This will not be saved anywhere in the file. This is basically a command you're giving to them. So anything after this, anything after the colon you type in normal mode, the command you give to them. So for example, the first command we are going to learn is Q exclamation mark. What this does, Q means quit, and exclamation mark, and the exclamation mark means even if there is unsaved changes, discard everything. I just need to quit the app. I just need to quit Vim immediately. So if I press that, I'll come out. Okay. So, and I'm telling you how to quit it because it's a big meme, and like it's not knowing how to quit Vim is a big joke among developers and Linux enthusiasts. So this is one thing I think you should know. So okay, open Vim again, open the file again, and now in normal mode, the first thing you do with the mouse is you scroll the page. That is basically the single scrolling and selecting are the two main things. So if you need to scroll, you have to move around. How do you do that? Using the keyboard. So if you can see in this markdown file I have, J, K, L and N along with the normal arrow keys. J, K, L and N are the most important keys to move around. So J moves you one line up, J moves you one line down, K moves you one line up, L moves you to the right, and H moves you to the left. Okay. So okay, now I am not touching the mouse. When I press J, you can see the cursor go down, and if I am pressing L, you can see it go to the right. So if you can just try that, go somewhere in the middle of the file and just play around with these keys. You see, if you get the hang of these, you can basically go to any character in the file and basically edit it and basically select it, and I'll tell you how to edit it later. So try these keys H, J, K and L, and if you guys know how to touch type, these are the keys on the home. So if you're a touch typer, these are the keys where your hand would naturally be resting. So this is very convenient. If you're typing, you can just instinctively use these keys once you're a bit practiced. So that's how you basically move around. H, J, K and L. So once you are comfortable with these, we can think about a single line. So in Vim, there are three main commands for a single line: moving to the beginning of the line, the end of the line, and the first proper character, a non-white space character. So if you guys know a bit of regex, Baleshwar talked about that too. $sign is the symbol for the end of the line, and the caret is the symbol for the start. So dollar and caret. So dollar is to move at the end of the line, and caret is to move the first non-blank character, and 0 is for the beginning of the line. So back in Vim, go to any line, press the J key and go down a bit, and so my cursor is currently at the G of Aragon, and if I press the dollar key, which is shift and 4, it jumps to the right. So let me show you again. I'm currently at this 22. I press shift and 4, the dollar key, and it jumps to the right. And if I press the 0 key, it jumps to the start, and it jumps to the actual start. And if I press the caret, which is shift and 6, I move to the first non-white space, which is a W. So you can see, if a line is very long, this can be very useful. This line you see is so long that it's being wrapped. This is the complete line. So if I need to jump to the end, I can just do shift 4 or dollar and just move to the end. So dollar, caret and 0. These are the next keys you need to Right, after that, we have another command to basically move one word ahead, and a word is anything separated by white space. So if I press W, you can see I'm jumping one word ahead. So by pressing W, so the cursor is at M right now. If I'm pressing the W key and it jumps to S, so you can immediately skip to the next word. And this is how using Vim is faster than using the arrow keys, because the W key you can just simply jump a whole word. You can simply go to the end of the line. You can simply go to the start of the line. So if you were normally using the keyboard, you can't be this fast, because you have to use the home and end keys. Again, they are located farther away from the home key, and you have to move your hand to reach. So this is the beauty of them. You can do everything with your hands being at the keys you used to type, on the keys you used to type. So you can move along. Use W to go one word ahead. You can use B to move one word back. So pressing B will take you to the previous word. So B and W can be used to go basically as the arrow keys, but jumping one word at a time. And with B and W, you also have E. E basically jumps to the end of the next. This is HTML, yeah, my cursor is at U of Ergon. If I press E, it moves to the end. It immediately moves to the end of the word. And so if I press B, it moves to the front of the word, because B goes to the last one, or in this case, the start of the current word if you are at the end. Okay, so W, B, and E. These are the next three commands you need to know. W, B, and E. So even with this, you can do a fair bit. After that, there are the bracket keys, which are used to move one sentence or a whole paragraph. So I can do that. You can see how fast I'm scrolling. I'm just pressing the bracket keys with Shift and 0, and it's just jumping whole sentence. Okay, and you can use the curly braces to jump whole paragraphs. So it just takes me a couple key clicks, key presses to do that. So this is the basic moving around stuff. Okay, yeah, and this is this one. GG and capital G. You use them a lot. If you're at the end of the file, you need to go to the start. Just press G and it will take you to the top. And just press capital G, Shift and G, you can go to the GG and capital G. And H moves you to the top of the page, and L moves you to the bottom. Capital H and capital H top of the screen, capital L bottom. And at the end, if you're in normal mode, if you start a command with colon and you press 4, you will immediately jump to line number 4. These are the basic moving around commands. So as I told you, moving around is one thing which Vim replaces the mouse. So you can move around freely without moving your hand to the mouse. Okay. After that, there's searching, replacing. I'll come to searching and replacing a bit later because it's more advanced. But deleting is a fun one. So sometimes, okay, so let's say I'm at this N character here and I want to delete the whole word, and I want to delete this tag. I can press X and it will just delete that tag. It will just remove that tag. So I can keep pressing S and it will act as a delete key because it's deleting the character at the front. I can just keep deleting everything and it will just go away. I can move to the next line and I can delete everything. But this is a bit tedious to do with just one. You have to keep pressing that. So if you press D, you will see, if you press a single small d, you can see a D written here, which means it is waiting for another key press to follow. So right now you press a single small d. So when I press another D, you see this will disappear and the current line will also disappear, because DD deletes the whole line. So you can see this title line, I am pressing DD and it will just go up. So you can just hold the D key and everything will just disappear. Every line can disappear and you can just move whatever you want. So if you need to clean up cleanup of any file, you can do it very quickly. Yeah, and okay, so X works as the delete key. Capital X was the acts as a backspace key. So it will basically remove anything to the left of this. So as you can see, I'm pressing Shift and X, and it's basically just a backspace key. Again, there is a backspace key on the keyboard, but the letter keys and Shift and all the letter keys are the keys where your hand normally rests when you are typing. So you don't have to move your hand. You can just simply do 2 peak presses and do this. So again, Vim minimizes the amount of travel your hand has to do while editing in file. So yeah, DD is deleting the whole line, and DW is to delete a single word. So basically, I can press W, go to the next word. Okay, I'm at this word which is tells. I can just press D. Then you can see a small D here, which means it's waiting for another key press, and I can press W and it will remove the whole. So I can just keep pressing DW and complete words will get deleted. So DW deletes the whole word. So this is deleted, and yeah, when you moving around, and that was I've covered moving around and I've covered deleting stuff. So searching and replacing, again I'll come to them. So these are 2 things you do with the mouse. Okay, you select something and you delete it. You must have done this a lot of times. You double click on a word to select it and then you delete it. So with Vim you don't have to do that. If I have to delete this word, which is say locality, I can just press BW and I can just delete it. Now let's come to the insert mode. Now the insert mode is nothing special. You just press I or A. So there are 2 keys to get in this mode, and here you have to just remember this. Suppose I'm on this comma character. Okay, when I press I enter the insert mode and the cursor is on the comma on the comma character. So when I press anything, it will be placed before the comma. Understand? The gibberish I'm typing gets inserted before the comma. Okay. And if you press the A key, the cursor gets moved 1 character to the right, and then and anything you type is after the comma. So let's say I have this bar key, and my cursor is on the bar. Pressing I will place the cursor on the bar, which means anything I type will come before this, and pressing the A key will put me in the insert mode with the cursor being 1 character to the right of the bar. So anything I type will be after that. And you might say, why is this useful? Because in a default Vim configuration, you can see the cursor goes 1 key to the right. So you would say, why is that? Because if you press the I key, you can put things at the end of the line. And pressing the A key, will move you 1 character to the right. So again, if I need to delete the whole line, I can press DD, it will just match. So the insert mode, you basically press I and insert the insert mode before the cursor, and before the cursor means before means, so if you're in a terminal, you might have this block cursor, which is basically covering the character, and on any normal and other applications you will have this single line cursor. So that's why it's a bit confusing. But if you remember it for the terminal, pressing I moves you on it, and pressing A moves you to the right. Okay. And one more thing, like because Vim is so famous, there is an extension for VS Code where you can use VS Code, and in VS Code you can use the Vim key bindings. So in VS Code you will press J and it will go down. So, and even on lead code has an option to set to enable Vim key bindings, and you can basically use Vim on VS Code and lead code. So it's very famous, it's very universal.
Yeah, I think this is it. This was the basics. You can always go through the recording. So if you missed anything, you can just look through the recordings about the shortcuts again, and I will be sending you the guide also. So yeah, thank you for joining, guys. We'll meet in the next session, and see you there.